Hi YouTube. It's been quite a delay this week. I went through a lot of different issues. The first issue I went through this week, well, not this week, but last week, October 29th, I was pretty much placed in handcuffs and Baker Act for no reason because they were trying to stop me from writing reports in Palm Beach County in Florida. I couldn't believe this was happening to me. Um, Three officers came to my home. I wouldn't have let them in, but I was already on the phone with their sergeant from Internal Affairs who advised me to let these gentlemen open the door and see what they want. As he sat on the phone and listened to them say that they have a behavior health issue with me and they want to take me and Baker Act me for no reason at all because I'm writing reports and I don't know who the subject, or how they would put it, the suspect, um, or the assailant, because I can't point them out. I guess my reports wasn't valid enough, and I was pretty much Baker acted because of me writing my reports and trying to make sure that they know that these incidents are taking place. It upsets me more than anything because after being Baker Act for no reason, and a sergeant came up and he said, "You can't be on the phone with Internal Affairs or you would be talking to me." And his name was Sergeant Brooks. And I couldn't even believe it. Three officers, one named Beasley. The other two officers, I didn't quite catch their name. I was trying to look at their badges, but this is how I got their names from looking at their badges. I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I was then taken to a mental health site, the same mental health site that I'm suing because I'm suing PBSO already. I was already in a lawsuit with them because of malpractice and misconduct of a false Baker Act and previously. And this is the second time it happened. So I made sure that I notified them. They've been trying to get into my home for God knows how long, by knocking on the door, alleging that they're doing health care checks and health care inspections on me and all kinds of stuff, and attempting to get in my home. I notified them weeks ago when I called the Internal Affairs when they put out a fake warrant for my arrest. And the fake warrant, when I went to turn myself in, because I wasn't at the abode that they was looking for me at, so I went to turn myself into law enforcement. The people say you have no warrant for your arrest whatsoever. So, but officers are showing up to my home pretending to be them, and my life is in danger. Plus, I'm now receiving harassing phone calls from mental health places, pretty much in an attempt to Baker Act me or whatever again. It has been a tough go. Reporting true situations that's taking place and like rape situations that taking place, and I have to say that these situations is really taking place because when you have a woman such as myself who has not had sex for years, and then you give, and all her previous test results was clean, and you give her a test result that says that she has a STD. I couldn't even believe that. They gave me a test result after all these years saying that of me not having sex, saying that I have an STD, and you're saying that I'm not being raped But how did I get an STD if I'm not sexually active for years? And all my previous test results indicate that there was nothing wrong with me. But because you're not sitting here watching my vagina all day, according to you, you're trying to say that I'm mentally unstable and that the STD or whatever has been taking place with me has been voluntarily and not against my will. I have heard stories like this in my community before, where there was women who had spent 10 years not sexually active and all their test results previously came out good, and that 10th year these women were diagnosed with HIV and told that they have AIDS and that they now have to live with AIDS after spending all that time in abstinence and not having sex. It upsets me because I know it's a game to manipulate women and men and to cause problems for women and men, because I started thinking, like, what if it was me and I had a boyfriend? I would automatically think that my boyfriend was stepping out on me, and he would automatically think that I'm stepping out on him, and he would attack me or do something against me. Or I would do something against him and attack him and say, you were out there with them women and you were doing this and you was doing that. So that's how this came about. And he would automatically say that about me. Probably you was out there with them men because I've been faithful, whatever the case may be, if he was, and sometimes a man deals with things differently. He might not say nothing and just sit up there and beat the hell out you one day. So all of this is happening, taking place. The Baker Act thing, after they removed me from my home in handcuffs, they alleged that I attacked them. According to what the officers say, I'm writing a report that you attacked me, and that's why I'm Baker Acting you. So I don't know what's all in the report. I'm ordering the report today. It's been days ago, but I'm ordering the report today. I haven't had my laptop for weeks now. I couldn't even believe it, because when I got to the site where they were trying to Baker at me, which is one of the sites that I'm suing, because it's a previous site and it's owned by the same people, although it's under new management, the same people own it. It's the same owners. A deputy shows up saying that he's the mental health staff and he's Baker acting me. Upon entry, they inject me with something. I almost passed out, went unconscious, started having heart trouble and everything. They had to call an ambulance, and later I was sent to another mental health hospital because they have to clear the mental health exam of me, or do an examination of me, whether I'm mentally insane or not. They have to keep me for so long to evaluate me to see if I'm competent or what the issue really is, and whether or not the officers were in the wrong or in the right, or whatever the case may be. I it's been a lot of stuff going on, and I'm upset about it. I'm angry about it, but I know what time it is. Just attack after attack after attack for no reason at all, no motive at all. You can't even justify certain things. When a person say, "Oh well, we're doing this because of you lack of being able to pay your bills," when I can show several reports of me applying for assistance. So you can't even use lack of paying bills as an excuse or to say that I'm mentally unstable, because I am seeking after help to try to get certain things resolved. So it's upsetting to know all the victimization that they're doing, and nobody is combating it, nobody is fighting against it. that's up there with them. So hopefully it'll change. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But this is just me updating you guys. The reason why I haven't really been posting as much or whatever the case may be is because this type of stuff is going on. I got a lot of more posting to do, but this is what took me away from my son. On his birthday, I was Baker Act. So my son didn't get to see me on his birthday. I had just now started arranging his birthday party to celebrate that weekend because his birthday fell on the Friday, but I wanted to celebrate it that weekend. And it was crazy. It was a horrible occasion for me, but I definitely know to voice and speak out because the way they did it, it was their way of telling me to stop writing reports, stop sending stuff in, stop reporting on us doing what we're doing to you. And I made sure I notified them in the report that I wrote on what they did already to me, that I'm not going to stop reporting to them because these reports are valid and are definitely a necessary thing, because there will be no way that you will say that you didn't know what was taking place. They get away with a lot of stuff because they say that we're not reporting, but they do things to try to silence us, like Baker acting us, locking us up in prison, jail, and stuff like that, without even having a legitimate or valid reason for lockup or placing in any kind of situation. So knowing this and it's not the first time this is happening. This has been happening like every week with me, dealing with law enforcement trying to silence me and tell me not to speak out, not to do anything. When I walked into the Baker Acting site, the guy said, "You're combative. You're very combative." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm combative. I'm combative because I'm telling you what you're doing wrong. If you consider that being combative, then feel however you want to feel. I'm combative then. If I'm sitting up there and I'm just vocalizing and verbalizing to you, there is really no harm being done. That's a constitutional amendment right which you are trying to remove from me, because you have already removed the constitutional right to my freedom at the moment in which you Baker acted me. So you have violated my constitutional rights multiple times with no regards to my life whatsoever. And I pose no threat to no one, no injuries or nothing. You have no one that can say they were stabbed, they were killed, this happened, that happened. You have no proof of anything. If I were to go and live in a tent, there would be no motive for Baker acting unless I wasn't properly caring for myself. That means not applying adequate nutrition and not showering. Other than that, you would have no motive. In fact, that's what I'm going to do pretty soon, is show y'all a picture of me living in a tent to show that there is really no motive for harassment. But they continue to move forth and try to harass me and do all kinds of manners of things against me. But I am doing this video because I want you guys to know that even when you're being harassed, don't give in to them. Don't get upset. My family, they're going through the same thing. They're upset, they're crying, they're angry, they're mad. And when you get mad, sometimes you get so mad that you start to cry because you really can't do anything because your hands is tied, to the point if you were to do things, it would be irrational. And you would have to go totally liberal. And when I say totally liberal, I mean you have to go hard in the paint. If you're going to go all the way and you're going to do something irrational, you have to go all the way and be completely irrational. But this has been happening to a lot of people in the community. I wrote several reports about them imprisoning people through authority and through the system, removing people's children and brainwashing their children through the system. It's been a multiple things that I've been writing and reporting, trying to get them to do something about, and they refuse to. While they're at the site, I called the sheriff department multiple times. They didn't even send one additional deputy out to me. It was like a game to them, like they were laughing and joking about it the whole time while this incident was happening. They had no regards for my life whatsoever. I regretted even opening up the door and listening to the advice of the internal affairs officer, sergeant, that was telling me to open up the door for them, because if I had never opened up the door, they would not have access to me to do anything to me. And I regret even listening to him, because he did not come to remove me from the facility. He did not come to see what was going on. The sergeant that came say, I didn't get any reports about this. The people that's there, they all was in cahoots together. Even with the lawsuit, there is policies and procedures that says that they're not even supposed to harass me after the lawsuit is submitted. Certain things is not supposed to happen. They supposed to practice a certain level of professionalism, and they refuse to. So now I'm submitting in another lawsuit for the second incident that has taken place in the same amount against both sites. So I'll see what happens, but this is me telling you, YouTube, don't give up. You know, sometimes we go through a lot to rise up against the craziness, the madness, or whatever the case may be. I don't give up. If you're going through a similar thing, the same thing that I'm going through, this is just my way of encouraging you, saying that you're doing something right. Don't stop writing those reports or whatever. They Baker Act you and put you in. A couple of weeks later, you make sure you come back out and you write what's really taking place and what you're observing and what you're seeing and what's happening.